words branding and SEO and run for the hills? As a business owner, you know they are important, but maybe you don't fully understand them, so you've possibly just thrown a website together just to get it up there. If that's you, join me today as I speak with Rhodesia Jackson of Rhodesia J Designs about branding and SEO for your website. Welcome to the next episode of the BizMagic podcast, sharing expertise and solopreneur journeys to help business owners find the magic in their businesses by being more productive, focused, and successful. I'm Patty Meyer, the founder of BizMagic, where I help entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and small business owners clear their plates so they can get back to doing what they love, running their business. Branding and SEO are so much more than just a logo and keywords. When building a successful website, it's important to go much deeper to get those elements of your business and website completed properly, optimizing your presence for your success. So, to give you a little better idea of how to do that, I'm talking with Rhodesia Jackson, founder and creative director of Rhodesia J Designs, a design studio taking on clients that aren't afraid to walk to the beat of their own drum. Rhodesia is a designer, web developer, and closeted nerd. She is also an avid reader, plant lover, and killer, and wannabe interior decorator. Self-care is something that she adores, from yoga to DIY facials. For now, Boston is her home, but she has dreams to travel the world. Rhodesia's career spans over 10 years, and she has been published in Boston Magazine, The Improper Bostonian, and Arts and Home Magazine. Although she has worked in the corporate world for the beginning of her career, Rhodesia's true passion lies in helping female entrepreneurs develop their brand identity and websites. So let's welcome Rhodesia to the podcast. So thank you so much for joining me today, Rhodesia. It is wonderful to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to start with a few little warm-up questions and just to kind of get to know you a little bit better and so the audience can get to know you and everything like that. So if you're down for that, let's start there.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what is your favorite thing to do in your downtime?
I know this sounds terrible, but working. I just love what I do. So I just always want to be working on something, either it's like scheduling or like making blog posts or writing, but when I try to make myself stop working, I like to go hiking, do a lot of knitting. It's kind of like my self-care downtime, just like mindlessly knit and watch movies or TV.
Mm-hmm.
Or read. I read a lot of books, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. So when you're doing work in your downtime, is it work for your own business or work on client stuff?
Typically it's work for my own business because I feel like as a business owner, your work kind of never ends. There's always things on your list that you want to get done and just try to like make things smoother for your clients and make their process easier for them. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Yeah. And I crochet. I'm a crocheter. I do the same thing just in my time where I'm like, not doing anything. It's something mindless to do that's awesome and creative. Yeah. So as a child, did you have a favorite game that you liked to play growing up?
I didn't really have a favorite game. I was a big prankster and my little brothers. I have two younger brothers. And I like to play pranks on them. Like I'd be like, oh, you're adopted, or like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just like, because I have this little brother, he doesn't look as much as like me and my other brother do. He looks more of like my mom's side of the family, and he looks like them or that sort of thing. So we always thought he's adopted. He's like, Stop! Yeah, that's what we used to do.
That's awesome. My older brother and I, we have one younger brother. When we were growing up, we would wake him up in the middle of the night and be like, it's time to get up. We're going on vacation. And he'd like, wake up and go start to pack a bag. It was amazing. Now
he's confused. He trusts you because you're older. Yeah. Exactly what I used to do.
Yeah.
It's your job as an older sibling to do that sort of thing.
Right? You have to prepare them for life.
Yes.
Awesome. And what book has inspired you the most in your personal or business life?
I'm going to say one that inspires me in both parts of my life is The Phantom Tollbooth, which is one of my favorite books from when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. It's not like a super, super well-known book.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, but it's just about this little boy named Milo, and he kind of hates learning. And he goes on an adventure, and he realizes that learning is really important and fun. And I've always kind of felt that way. Like, I love learning. If I could go back to school and stay in school forever, I would. I'm always taking classes and just trying to like learn more about everything. I always want to know. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And at least now, it's a lot easier with technology and everything to be learning constantly without having to go back to school specifically with web.
Exactly. Like, I used to live at the library as a child. So like, I was always there. I take like 7 books at a time. And like, yeah, I was a big nerd.
That's awesome, but it pays off now, right?
It does. That's true. That's true.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. And last fun question. If you could vacation anywhere in the world and money was no object, where would it be?
I would say maybe like Fiji or somewhere tropical with like beautiful water and sunlight. I'm in Boston, so it's very cold and cloudy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the winter, it's dark days here sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So somewhere nice and warm and beautiful fruit and vegetables and food and yeah.
I'm okay. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I want to go on your dream vacation.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So let's get down to business and talk a little bit about Rhodesia Jade Design. So tell me a little bit about your business and how you got it started.
I started it kind of more recently than anything, maybe the past 6 months even.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of was always doing freelance things for friends, family, friends of family. And then I wanted to make it a little more serious and a little more concrete in my business and figure out where it was going. So I decided to start working with a coach and get really serious on my business. And this is kind of what evolved from that. I realized that I really enjoy working with women specifically in that sort of look and vibe, and working specifically with like lifestyle brands, helping them like figure out how to create an experience around their brands and their business.
Mm-hmm. And so how did you get into design and all of that? And how long have you been doing that?
I started doing design like in high school, so that was a long time ago. But in high school, I would just like play around in Photoshop. That was like, I don't know, CS like 2 or something, like CS3 or something. It's embarrassing, right. But yeah, it was like my first Photoshop was a long time ago. And I would just like play around in there and make like little graphics and like flyers and posters and that sort of thing, just for like fun and for friends, that sort of stuff. And then I ended up going to school for graphic design at Newbury College in Boston, or Brookline, like right by Boston College. So I just went through that program and got my degree, and ever since then I've been designing. Yeah, so now I'm in the corporate world, I'm a 9 to 5, but on the side I have my business. Yeah, which I want to make it my.
Nice. And when you were younger, were you always designing something? And so have you always been like a creative minded as well as intellectual?
Definitely a creative minded person. Like I remember my mom would tell me about the stories. Like I write like books with my friend. I had a friend, he would write and I'd draw the pictures for it, and we'd have like a little book series together.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, like, she like still has them, of course. Like she would like, just like loves talking about how I'm always been creative and oh, you're so creative and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
That's so great.
So I've always been creative in some sort of way. I've always been crafting something or drawing something and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. And so tell me a little bit more about the clients that you get in your business. So who comes to you usually to work with your company, and like what are their pain points tend to be?
It's typically like entrepreneurs, bloggers, business owners, typically women, but who are dealing with like not having their brand matching the quality of their work or their services. Mm-hmm. It's not indicative of who they are and how the quality of their business and the quality of their services. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I bring up their website to that level and their branding to that level, because a lot of times people start out, they're doing it themselves because investments, it is a big investment for your website. Mm-hmm. And if you're not sure if this is going to work out in a year or two, then why would you want to invest a huge amount in your business? So I come along maybe like a year or 2 into your business when you're feeling much more stable and secure and things are going well, and I help them out with branding in their website. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And so talk a little bit more about branding. So it's something, right, that gets thrown around a lot. Everybody hears about branding, but I don't know that everybody fully understands what that means and what it takes to incorporate branding fully into your business and make it cohesive.
Yeah, I think I've noticed that a lot of people are always asking for logos, looking around for logos, but like a brand is so much more than just a logo. If you think about like Apple, their
Mhm.
entire brand is completely on purpose. Nothing is by accident. They want to create like an experience, a feel for you when you go to the Mac store, the Apple store, and you walk in and everything is just like white. It's completely white. Everything is crisp and clean and streamlined. There's glass, there's metal, super modern. They do that all on purpose.
Right.
You walked in there and it was all wood and rustic and country, and you'd be really confused.
Right, right. And so that's a really good point, right? Because then with sort of glass and clean modern lines, you think of technology, you think of
Yes.
computers, you think of
Yes.
that sort of thing. But if you went into a place that was old and rusted, you'd be like, are
Where
you
am I?
Dave?
Yes.
Like,
Where am I? Like, where am I? Like,
yeah.
like, is my laptop going to be made of wood? Like, yeah,
Right.
you'd be confused. So that's why all that is so, so important for your brand. Same thing with if you have a brand that's like a clothing line or something like that, it's for children. You don't want to use things like are super modern and cold. You want it to have to be fun and exciting for children. You have to make sure you think about who your client, who your niche is, and who your clients are, and who you're ultimately selling your service or product to, and what they want to see, not specifically what you like. Like if you like blue, but you're selling things to women, you might have to think about what shade of blue, what hue or saturate or tone of blue use. As
Right.
I like navy blue, so I'm going to use blue for everything.
Right, right. Yeah, so that's really great, right? And so and it's amazing how much colors and style and design make people feel things. And I think that we forget how important that aspect of it is that feeling that you keep talking about, and we tend to buy with our feelings a
Yes,
lot of the
absolutely.
time, right? So I mean, I think that's really how branding can play a strong role in understanding and optimizing your business, because it elicits feelings. And if you can figure out what your people feel and what they want to feel, then you can play off of that.
Yeah, I think that's a huge, huge piece of branding as well. Like branding is not just the visual aspect, it's also like how you want, what feelings you want to evoke in your clients and your customers.
Yeah.
If you want them to feel like they can trust you, if they feel like they want to have fun with you, they want to hang out with you, if they feel like, like at peace, at rest. It just all depends on what feeling you want to evoke in your client, but depending on what business you have and what kind of personality you have. I think that's super important as well. If your personality is super energetic and fun and you're trying to put across like this very mellow and chill vibe, it's not really going to mesh. And I think that's super important as well. Like
Right.
you have to follow along with who you are as a person as well as who your clients are. And that's kind of why it's important for you to be part of your business, like a huge part of your
Mm.
business. Your personality is a huge part of your business and what you're selling.
Right, definitely. And I think also with that, right, it's important to remember that you don't have to resonate with everybody. And so
Yes.
it's okay for your business and your branding to be in alignment with who you are, even if that doesn't speak to everybody, because you don't want to work with everybody.
Um,
So why do you want everybody to want to like your business? And it's okay
exactly.
that they don't.
You don't need to be someone to everybody. You can't be. It's impossible.
Right.
And not everyone's gonna like your stuff, and that's okay. So
Right.
like I always see people asking like strangers or family friends if they like their website, logo, whatever. But really at the end of the day, it's not about their opinion, it's about like your clients. Most likely yours because you could be one of your clients because whatever you're selling or service you're giving, your personality is part of it. So
Right.
as long as your client or your customer, whatever, likes your logo, branding, website, that's what matters, not your
Right.
aunt or your Uncle Joe or something.
Right. And that brings up a really good point, right? Is that a lot of people say, oh, well, let me go ask my friends, let me ask my family. And so kind of in that way, it's recommended that you take, when you want to do a trial run, right, with your branding or your website or content or anything like that, go to your people, go to
Yes.
your audience and ask
Yeah.
what they think. Give them something for free in exchange for their opinion or something, so that those are the people whose energy and attention that you get.
Yeah, you don't ask exactly. You don't ask your sister, your best friend. They don't, or your partner. They don't know. They're not your customer, your client base. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so another big thing that you do is SEO, right? And so this is another one that people just go whoosh, and then get totally lost in SEO, because that's similar to branding, that idea of, oh, it's just your logo, or it's just, and SEO, it's just keywords, right? But it's not. There's a whole world of SEO. And
Yes.
so you're an expert at that, right?
Yes. I wouldn't say I'm an expert because I think unless you work with Google, you're not an expert because
Good point.
they don't advertise or publicly put out what all their things that they're measuring. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a guess, not a guessing game, but it's research. You have to research and figure out what is making differences and how you're showing up in searches. But
Mm-hmm.
I try to go from a very simple point of view from SEO and try to do little things that I think make a big difference in the long run.
Okay.
Things like making sure you use your alt text for photos. So when you put a photo on WordPress or Squarespace or something like that, ask you for a description of the photo or like an alt text for the photo, and always make sure you put something in there that describes the photo. This is good for SEO as well as accessibility. So if someone is cannot see the photos or they're not loading for them, they still see the description of the photo.
Mm-hmm.
This also leads to your website as well. If someone's searching, I don't know, how to do SEO, for instance, how to update your SEO on your website, and I have a photo on my website that's called like SEO for entrepreneurs. That will show up if you're searching for SEO for entrepreneurs.
So that's a really good point. The alt text and keeping it accessible is really important, right? Because I think that's
Yes.
something people don't think about, is they just upload a file because they need to put a picture in there, especially when you're using kind of the front facing, client
Wix,
friendly. Yeah, exactly. And they
or
don't know all of
Weebly. Yeah, or Squarespace. You can just upload the photo, but
that.
please don't. Before you even upload it, change this file name to something that makes sense with the blog post or page or your business. Make sure you always put in like your business name. I always put in like Rhodesia Designs in every single photo that I have on my website so that
In the
people,
file name of the
yes,
photo, right?
yes, like graphic designer or something like that in the file name of the photo, and your alt text and your description as well. You want to have all that in there. So when Google is crawling on the websites, it sees yours and knows that you're a source for like, design or whatever else you do for your business.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And so, and then you talk about meta descriptions, right?
Mhm.
And so what does that mean? What is a meta description, and what does that mean?
So meta description is what the Google bots are searching around for, essentially. So alt text is a sort of meta description. So when the Google bots are searching around, they want to find meta descriptions for your website. It's not looking specifically for the content. It's like the main description of your website. It's usually in your head on your website,
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of thing.
Right. And so, when so I do a lot of websites on Squarespace and things like that. I do like very minimal coding and things. So I use a lot of the front end. And so each page you can put a description in. Should they be different for each page? You should have specifically what that page is, because if you have the same description on each page, then aren't you just sort of repeating the same thing?
You
Or what is the
absolutely,
recommendation on that?
you absolutely should have different descriptions. Like, please. Otherwise, Google will see it as like multiple duplicates of a page, and they won't index each one, and that's a huge problem.
Mm,
Yeah,
right.
you want
So,
to have different, unique descriptions for each page. Otherwise, you're gonna lose out on a lot of SEO points.
right. So it's really important. I mean, I think that so like branding and like all things you do in your business, it's not something you can just throw together in 5 minutes. And there's a lot of that information out there that says, with Wix and Squarespace and things like that are like, you can build a website in 2 hours and it's perfect, but that's not real. Not if you want it to
Yeah.
be successful and optimized for SEO and attention for your niche and all of that. So likewise, you have to go in and be really thoughtful about every piece that you put on that website.
Yes, exactly. Like building a website is one thing, but building a website to bring in sales is another thing.
Right.
Like it's completely different. Because a
Right.
website, yeah, you could build a website in 2 hours. Is it going to do anything for you? Probably not. It's
Right.
not going to. It's not going to bring back its investment that you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to be very careful about some of these like sites like Fiverr or Upwork. Like definitely do your due diligence, and if something sounds too good to be true, it most likely is.
Mm-hmm. So what do you recommend when you're trying to do that? So, is it best to try to find somebody that is their work, is that they do SEO, somebody like you, or can you, so like you're saying, in the beginning, you can't always afford it, or you're not sure that it's gonna, last super long as you're just starting your business and the longevity of the business itself. And so, is this stuff that people can do themselves? Is it easy for them to do this research to figure out what are the best ways and keywords and things to use in the descriptions, in the file names and all of that? Or should they just off the bat try to find somebody who really can optimize their SEO for success?
I think at the beginning stages of your business, it's best to go off like word of mouth and reviews and that sort of thing. And then slowly start working on your SEO, like to the point where you need a professional. But in the beginning days, I think there's enough resources out there on Google. Even on my website, I have an SEO blog. I think gives you like very easy steps that you can take to upgrade your SEO. Mm-hmm. I also have like a resource that comes along with a checklist that you can go through and update the things one by one and make sure you hit all the points to raise your SEO and improve things just to get to that baseline of properly, using your keywords and putting everything in there. I also am going to start offering in this next week or two a service where I work with someone to get the website up and running by themselves. So they're like a DIYer. So what I would do is work with them for an hour and a half or so, figure out planning for the website, pages that need to be done, go over their branding that's existing, talk to them about what colors they need, what sources they might need, any kind of resources I can give them. And then they can go off, build the website, and then we have another follow-up session where I follow up with them, make sure everything's good to go. So they can get that sort of help from a professional, but also because of their price, their investment, how much they can invest in getting this help, they can do it themselves.
That's brilliant, because there are so many people out there who are just in that position, like you're saying, that they don't know where to start. They could use just a little bit of guidance without putting in that whole investment to kind of get them in a direction and teach them kind of where their focus should be and how to do it properly.
Yeah, because like I understand that like how much you can invest is definitely like something you need to take into consideration when you're starting your business. Like I'm a business owner, you're a business owner, you know that you want a lot of nice things for your business, but it's not always possible.
Right.
But you can kind of get halfway there with some little help, a little boost from someone. I'm going to be doing a service for new websites as well as existing. So like if you want to get like a website audit or a website or branding audit for coaching, is sort of call it coaching, but website and branding coaching, I can help out with that as well. It's the same kind of service. I go over brand analysis of your existing, website analysis of the existing, what we can do to change, fix, and upgrade everything, and then do the same thing with a follow-up and then go from there. Trying to make sure everyone's on the right track, because one thing that hurts me is when I see a cool business, I get to their website and I'm like, oh god. Like no, exactly, because they seem so cool on Facebook, like their business is awesome, they're saying all these cool things, check out the website, and it's kind of like a letdown. Like
right.
I know that it's hard to build a website, but a lot of clients don't know that it's hard to build a website. Like I understand, but it's hard for me to take seriously someone whose website is not to that level.
Right.
It's not up to that level to spend money with someone if their website's not there.
Right. Yeah, and it's
invest in their business. How can I invest in you and to buy your services or goods?
Right. Yeah. And it's amazing how many websites you can go to that look like they were made in the 90s still,
yes.
And there's really no reason for that at this point. There's so much ability out there, accessibility to create modern, sleek websites and following the trends. But it's true. It's a hard place to be and to understand how that works but that's the thing, right? Is that person excels in whatever service they're offering. They don't excel in website design. And so that's why it's important to find a professional who knows what they're doing.
Because why spend your valuable time? Time is a resource that you cannot get back. Money, you can make more money always. Mm-hmm. Money is infinite. So spend your time wisely on things that you actually care about and you want to do and you're good at. Like, I don't like spending my time doing things I don't like to do or I'm not good at. Like, get an accountant, get a copywriter, get a VA, get whatever resources you need to make your life easier. Have more time, because the reason you became a business owner is because you can spend more time with your family, you have more control. All these things. You didn't become a business owner so that you can spend hours on YouTube trying to figure out how to build your website in WordPress. Right. It's not that's not what you're doing. Yeah. So
Exactly. Yeah.
invest a little bit of money, save some money, try to barter, anything you can do to get yourself a website that works, or copywriting that works for your business, or anything else like that. Yeah.
Right. Definitely. And not only that, but there's a lot of, like we met in a Facebook group,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of really amazing groups out there that can connect you to other business owners where you could potentially barter with for their expertise and things like that. There are always ways to grow your business and to take it to the next step within the range that you're comfortable in financially or otherwise. And so I think
Exactly.
it's important
Exactly.
to kind of see what resources are out there to get there.
Yes, it's because you don't have the budget right now to be able to invest in web design or something like that. You can find someone to barter with. And I don't think it's always smart to look for someone to do something quote unquote affordable price, because as I said before, you get what you pay for.
Hmm.
But if you're willing to negotiate to barter something that's a similar value, then yeah, you get something great if you're willing to trade something of similar value.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So one more thing with SEO, right? So, and I saw you talk about this at some point on your website, or on the blog that you talked about, the SEO blog you wrote, which is really great. You mentioned to blog on your website to grow SEO. So talk a little bit about that and how blogging can grow your SEO.
So I think blogging is super, super important. I feel like some people don't like writing. I'm not a fan of writing either, but I make myself do it because it's super important. It's important to not only to like educate your clients and your readers and your website visitors, but also for SEO reasons.
Hmm.
If you're writing a blog I wrote a blog about mood boards and brand boards, and if someone's like, what in the world is a mood board? They can Google that, and well, I'm not going to show up on the first page, but one day, hopefully I will show up on the first page of Google and I'll have a party. You search mood board, and if I were to have more blogs having the word mood board in it, I'm more likely to show up on the first page
Right.
because I'm hitting more keywords of the person that they're searching for. So
Right.
like that's super important for your business. Like if you're a VA for small business owners who work with weddings or something, a wedding VA, very specific. And if you have those keywords in your blog, like I mean VA, I don't know, some kind of wedding, you're an event planner for weddings. You're an event planner for weddings, and you search that VAs for event planners for weddings, your website would come up first because you have that blogs on your website about that. It's just kind of like thinking about what your clients and your customers are searching for.
Right. Right.
Those should be your keywords.
Right. And not only that, right? I mean, I think that what I've heard about blogging and SEO also is that you also then are always having something active happening on your website instead of
Yes,
just building a
definitely.
website and then it's stationary and it just sits there with your pages for 5 years. You have something always happening and growing. And so for me, I love writing, but don't like doing it for business, and I get stopped up and things like that. And so that's why I do this, is that I'm like, okay, so why don't I do video? And then I write my little script for my video, and that's my blog post. And I can put that in a blog and put my keywords in. And now I've got something that I enjoy, which is doing the video podcasts, but I'm putting them in my blog. And so that's
Exactly.
another way to do it. So there's other options to do
That's so smart.
stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
super smart because having new content is super important, because if Google's like, oh, this isn't the same stuff for like a year, I'm not going to keep calling this all the time. That's not good for you. That's
Right.
not good. You want to have updated content, new, always fresh. It's super
Hmm.
important as well. And
Right.
that's smart to do a podcast because that's what you like. If you don't like writing blogs about business, then why do it?
Right, right. And likewise, you can read an article and talk about that article and share the article in your
Yes.
blog. It
Yes.
doesn't always have to be perfectly original, super long content. It can be a short little analysis about something that you read and credit that person, put a link to their blog, and you're helping that person and you're drawing attention to yourself, and you have something new on your website.
Yeah. Another thing as well is like doing guest blogs, like having guest bloggers. If you don't always want to write a blog and just have a couple blogs handy that you can put out, that you have some guest bloggers if you don't feel like writing a blog that week or whatever else, just to keep things fresh and always updated.
Right,
Super, super
definitely.
important.
Yeah. And doing guest blogging is nice too, because it also then extends the audience that your things, that your content goes to, because that person is going to promote that they're on your blog, and therefore
Yeah.
your blog reaches a new audience. So that's another way to kind of,
So many levels. It's like such a smart idea. Yeah.
yeah. Awesome. So, so outside of SEO, you also talk about, or maybe it's also combined with SEO, but you talk about getting leads through your website. So talk a little bit more about how you do that on people's website when you're working with them, and what that's like.
Yeah. So SEO does have a lot to do with it, but like if you're on the first page of Google and someone searches for something, it's hard. So mostly it's probably from social media, or someone's like, huh, who is this person? You want to check your website. So that's where most of my traffic comes from my website. So when you get to your homepage, you want to have like what I call as like a welcome mat, or like a hero image. And it needs to like tell you exactly what you're doing on your website, like immediately. Otherwise they're gone. People want your website to tell them they're going to be gone if it doesn't load in time. So you want to make sure it loads quickly enough, and you need to tell them what you're doing, why they're there, what problem you can solve for them as quickly as possible. And then at that point, you want to either get them an opt-in kind of thing, like a pop-up, or like give them a free resource, or like tell them more about yourself and try to walk them through the page. And once they get to the bottom of the page, you can't just have it be the bottom of the homepage. You want to take them somewhere.
Right.
You want to take them to where you want them to go. So if you want them to go to your resources page, download an opt-in, like a checklist or a workbook, you take them to your resources page. If you want to take them to your services so that they can book with you, you take them to your services page.
Right.
You never want them just to get there and be like, what do I do now? Like,
right. Don't assume they're going to scroll back up to the top.
They're going to leave. They're like, all right, that's it, I guess, and they'll leave. But you want, even if they go to the about, every page needs to take them to somewhere. So you go to the about page, you need to take them to somewhere. You don't just tell them about yourself and it's blank. There's no button. We don't know call to action. They need to go somewhere, do something to try to get more information from you, so that you get them to go where you want them to go. Yeah.
Right. So it's sort of creating and implanting leads throughout your website. It's not just, you don't want to just make your homepage dynamic and then every other page on your website is just, oh, there's the content, there's the about page, there's that. You want it all to be interactive and moving and flowing from one to the other, wherever you want them ultimately to end up, which is booking a consultation or buying a service or a product or something like that.
Exactly. It's not about just having a storefront. It's about having a storefront with people outside the door and saying, come in here, please buy stuff. It's not just having a storefront that looks pretty.
Right. It's engagement, it's interaction, it's movement.
Yes.
Yeah, it's leads. Right. Exactly. Great. Awesome. So if there's one lesson that you'd like a business owner to walk away from this interview with, what would it be?
That's a good question. I think I would say to make sure that you're always thinking about where, like what I just said, like where you want your clients to end up on your website. A lot of people think maybe they don't need a website, or they just have one to have one because they think everyone else has one, I should have one too. Like if your business doesn't make sense to have a website, I can't think of one that there is, but I don't know, maybe, then you don't need a website, don't have one. But if you need them to go through a process where they're learning about your business, they're learning about what you can do for them, what your service can do for them, what your product can do for them, then you should have a website, and you should have them walk through the process of your website to learn more, get an opt-in, buy your service. Like that process.
Right.
Always happen on your website.
Right. Awesome. So this has been so great. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you think is really important for people to know, or do you think we've covered everything?
I think we covered everything. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I know this is really the tip of the iceberg of all these things. I mean, we can talk about them, but there's so much that's involved with branding and SEO and that sort of thing. So, so if somebody really wants to work with you or get to know more, or get a consultation with you, how can they do that?
They can head over to my website at rhodesiajdesigns.com, or look me up on Facebook, Rhodesia J Designs. I'm on there all the time. I love to talk to you and work with you and figure out how to bring an experience to your clients and customers.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Rhodesia. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
That was awesome. I want to thank Rhodesia again for joining us today on the BizMagic podcast. Again, if you'd like to work with Rhodesia, you can find her at rhodesiadesigns.com, where she is offering 15% off of her services if you mention BizMagic. Such an amazing offer. Don't pass up this chance to get your branding and SEO up to par. And now I want to hear from you. What did you find most valuable in our interview today? Do you still have any questions about SEO or branding? Share in the comments. And if you have any topics or questions that you would like to see me talk about in a future episode of the podcast, please head over to bizmagicpodcast.com and click on Ask a Question. If you'd like to be a guest on the show and share an area of expertise or talk about your solopreneur journey and all its ups, downs, and sideways, you can also do that in the same place by clicking on Be a Guest. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found some value, and I hope that you found some great ideas in branding and SEO, or at least understand it a little bit better and the importance it plays in your business. If you like what you saw here today, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Then join me next time when I share my favorite Chrome extensions to get all the stuff done. You don't want to miss it. Till then, keep the magic in your biz.